first year Amy Doyle, our amazing business administrator Laura Taylor, also rounding the corner on her first year, Jody Condon, our board secretary, who is wrapping up her 5th year, as will be discussed tomorrow, and Matt Stowe, director of technology. Could we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, guys. We have 2 sets of minutes to approve, one of which just came in under the wire, thanks to yours truly. One was for the regular meeting of the Hopkinton School Board from June 2nd, and also the second is for our school board retreat, which was last Friday from 12 to 3 at the library. Do I have a motion to approve both sets of minutes?
So moved.
Great. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. We are now at the first public comment portion of the evening. If you'd like to come on up, please state your name and address, and I ask that you try to keep it to 3 minutes. Come on up.
Good evening, everybody. Lauren Clement, 86 Maple Street. 2 things. First one was several of these consumables came home year end, and I have brought this up in the past that they seem to be very underutilized, and I just want to mention it again. This particular one's Fly 5, but there was Amplified and some of the other ones, and I don't know if it's just my particular student, but extremely underutilized consumables, and I just hope that we look into this and get some feedback, whether it's the staff that doesn't like what's in them, or if it's the kids not jiving, but something's not great there. I've got a stack, but I've been saving them. And then second, this I believe on the agenda is a discussion about unassigned fund balance and what it might be used for. And I would hope that you guys might consider the 2 Connaxes that are being rented at the high school be bought outright if we plan to use them for a long period of time, because renting them year over year over year just continues to add expense to the district. And if you're going to utilize unassigned fund balance, I think that would be a very appropriate avenue. If their game plan is to keep them there for duration. If they're going to go, that's a different story. Anyways, thank you.
Thanks, Lauren. Anyone else? Okay, the light totally just changed. Okay, we do not have, guys, our student school board reps, but in classic form, being the highly organized students that they are, they sent in written commentary, which will feel emotional to read.
Oh, geez.
I know, you just looked at me. No, I can do it. Okay, this is from Kip, okay, who is in Maine, so I wanted to make sure that he was still able to provide a student update, which is amazing. Okay, here we go, from Kipling Hedquist. The past couple of weeks have flown by. Graduation on the 5th was exceptional with lots of heartfelt speeches, including Andrea, and also notably commencement speaker Mrs. Hintros. The Concord Monitor even published a sweet article about it. He linked below. Sports all wrapped up with both lacrosse teams heartbreakingly but respectably losing in the semifinals to the eventual state champions. Several athletes competed at New England's for track and field. Last night was sports awards night, and with that concluding, my high school career really feels like it's come to an end. A couple days after graduating, Lucy and I went and visited HMS to make another maintenance staff appreciation banner. Do you want to pull it up? The youth involvement in that was truly exceptional, and this trip was unquestionably the best I've experienced all year. The kids were so enthusiastic, heartfelt, and understanding. Their excitement to help and show their gratitude provides great testament to the upstanding character of the Hopkinton schools. HMS and MSS also had their field days to help wrap up the school year, and MSS had step-up day. High school finals seemed to go smoothly this past week and wrapped up today. Lastly, the German exchange trip is officially underway, but I'm sure Lucy will have updates for that next year. I hope everyone's meeting goes well and everyone has an excellent summer. Yeah. And then I can do it. And then they made this amazing, really cute banner, which is amazing.
Thank you.
They were into it.
Very cute.
And then Lucy wants everyone to know this is amazing, that she's in Vienna right now with the German exchange group. Everything has gone great so far, and no one has lost their luggage, which is a win compared to France. That's my editorial comment in parentheses, not to Lucy. And happy to provide a more complete description of our experiences in the fall. Good luck tonight at your meeting. So that's it. Reporting from abroad, from our news desk.
Did they do their elections yet?
What's that?
Did they do the elections?
They did do the election, so our reps next year will be Lucy again, which is great, and one Jillian Dunlap. So we will have a Dunlap doubleheader, both sides of the table, which is
Not
pretty
the first
exciting.
time that happened here.
That's right. Okay. I thought that was good. Yeah. All right. Any board comments, guys?
No, I was texting with Lucy earlier today and sent you the picture. They're having a blast.
Yeah. Right. It looks great.
Trip
Yeah.
went off without a hitch. They got there on time. Everything went like clockwork.
Yep. If people have not gotten them also, we do each have board correspondence to each of us. There are these wonderful notes from the students at Harold Martin and Maple Street to thank the board for the Artist in Residence program, which we will hear about. I think we're going to do a presentation about it in the fall, Kim. But I really like painting on a big surface. It's the best. So thank you to the students for your beautiful cards. Sorry, this was it. Yeah.
Really touching.
Yeah.
I put mine up at work.
Yeah, that's right. It's the way to do it. Anyone else? All right, great. We have a pretty exciting student highlight. We have more champions for our women's track and field event. Do you guys want to come up and tell us about your season? Maybe? Hopefully? Possibly?
Yeah.
Well, I think we all agree that we had like a really good season. Like last year, I think we did lose a lot of seniors, so we always have like a lot of nerves going into it, and we were kind of unsure whether we would be able to win the state championship this year. We were always like keeping track of the points that the teams we thought were close were scoring at all the meets, but I think that everyone performed like really well on the day, and we all trained really hard all season. And I think everyone just had a really great day on that day of states, and we were able to get the win, which is super exciting for us, especially because we have a lot of freshmen, and our 4x8 team, which is mostly freshmen, did really amazing, and they made it to MOCs, got 6th at News Champions, and then made it to New England's, which was super exciting. And we had a bunch of other athletes go to New England's too, like some throwers, myself, Ashley, so it was really fun.
Amazing.
Hi, my name is Gwen Belty, and I'm a freshman. So coming into this year, last year, track, like, I knew the workouts were hard, I dreaded it, but with this team, I knew that I could get through any workout. They were always supporting me along the way, so I'd just like to say that it's a great team. I had a lot of fun. I will definitely be coming back next year. So, yeah, I'm really
Amazing.
Hi, my name is Ashley Madden. I'm a senior, well, not a senior anymore.
Graduate.
Coming into the season, like Maddie and Gwen said, we had to rebuild all of our relay teams, so that's pretty tricky because, losing Shaylee and Reese, and then some of the sprinters like Christy, it was hard, but all our relay teams did well this year, so it's good.
Awesome. Anything? No?
One more thing, I'd just like to thank all the work you guys did to help us along the way.
Oh,
It was an
thank you.
achievement.
Thank you. Yeah. Any questions for our athletes?
How big is the team? Because this isn't all of you guys. There's more.
I think in total it's 54, 53.
Are you serious?
Including the books.
Yeah.
That's so great. How does that compare to other schools? Because we're like a pretty small school.
Honestly, compared to other schools, we're pretty small. I know D1 schools have 50 kids just on their boys' side. So we're definitely pretty small, but I think over the past 2 years specifically, we've had a lot of people go out for the team and run on the track team. So it's been really cool to see larger numbers of kids on the team.
So having a small team and scoring and winning, I mean, it's hard.
Yeah, it's
So kudos to you.
I want to know what events you all did, and then is there anything that you're gonna do differently next year? You're gonna try something new? Are you gonna?
I do the mile and 2 mile mostly, so definitely the longer distance stuff, and I think I'll
like stick to that.
Stick to that.
I'm a sprinter, so I do like 100, 200, and 400.
I'm like mid distance, so I did the 816 and I did the 3200 once. And maybe like I'll try throwing shot next year. Go back to my middle school roots. I did that a few times in middle school. It was pretty fun, but I just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've kind of been like flip flopping kind of all over the place this season. Like this, the beginning, I started out with like the 100, 200, 400, 4x1, but towards like middle of the season, I would kind of switch more to 1600 and 800. So I kind of honestly really like anything, but personally, I like this a lot more.
Okay.
And so I'll probably do that again next year.
Awesome.
I'm mostly a sprinter. I tried the 100-meter hurdles this year, really liked that. And I did throw shot. I also ran the 4x1 after getting like subbed in because we had to change up our relay teams.
Okay.
Yeah, I mostly stuck to the 16 and 8s. And for New England's week, I did as part of the 4x8 team.
Cool. Okay. What was your hardest workout? What was like the most singularly hard?
So it's a weekend. We show up to the track with Coach Emerson. It's
Okay.
cloudy, a little cold, and I think it was 800s where you go fast, or 300s where you go 800 pace, slow down, 800 pace, and then you reverse it. It's hard to explain, but you know, my stomach started to hurt. For me, that was just the worst one of every rep. I was on the ground, but I got up, finished the workout with my teammates cheering me on, so it was good. Yeah, we ran 800, so that was great.
That's insane.
That was fun.
Yeah, I think it's noteworthy. You guys train on the weekends, right? So it's not just a weekday thing, but I saw you guys there every Saturday during softball games for the little kids, but it's remarkable, the amount of work you put in. Any other questions for track? And does anyone, or wait, no one here is field for women's? You guys are all runners? You're all track?
I throw.
You threw?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, amazing. I know, no jumpers. We can work on it. Anything else?
Yeah, can we talk about Maddie just for a minute?
Oh, yeah, go for it.
So Maddie, you would never bring this up, but you won the 3200 for all of New England. Yeah, and it was like a big deal. The girl that you beat, she was like at
30,
home when
yeah.
you finished. Like it was a big gap, and you were also faster than last year. So maybe you could just talk about that for a second.
That was like kind of a race where, well, like the 2 weekends before at divisionals and meet of champions, I kind of went into them expecting to kind of win. So those two were like really fun and exciting, but going into doing this, I was definitely a little more nervous because I knew that I had good competition going into it, but I also knew that a bunch of the girls who would be like around me time-wise ran the mile beforehand, and it was also like 85 degrees, and the track was black, so it was insanely hot. So I wasn't really expecting to go out for any time or anything like that, but I knew that I was capable of running faster than I did last year. So I just tried to go out, and I didn't try to go out too fast at first because the weekend before that kind of killed me in the second mile. So I tried to be more conservative in the first mile, and then I was able to like close pretty well and kind of just continue to gap the field as I went. But it was a really fun experience, and I was really excited to get my third New England title. So it was really cool.
Like so amazing.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's really
It's pretty great. Ashlyn, are you the only graduating senior from the fleet?
Well, not on the team. We definitely have a lot more, but yeah.
Everyone else is like,
Yeah.
yeah, on vacation. Yeah, okay, cool. Coaches, do you guys want to say anything? Are you good?
Sure.
Come on up, Mr. Tim.
So it was a remarkable year. We had 6 school records broken this year.
Wow.
Maddie took it down multiple state records for our division.
Wow.
You know, we're a small school, 300 students. And I think the largest school in our division has close to 600. There's 43 schools in our division, and to have our little school three-peat, not just once, but twice, but three-peat as state champions is remarkable. Not to let the boys down, but they came in sixth overall, which is their best showing since 2016.
Wow.
And Maddie's very humble. She's a very humble young lady. This is now her third New England championship, and she was just awarded, or not just awarded, but the Gatorade Cross Country Athlete of the Year for New Hampshire, and she's also now in the running for New Hampshire Track and Field Gatorade Athlete of the Year, which will be in about 2 days.
Okay.
Tough competition right now.
Yeah, and track's like tough because they take into account like all the sprinters start.
Right.
Yep.
So it's a big.
It's a big field.
And I have to thank my fellow coaches, Mark Rosskamp and Kim Emerson, who joined me this year. They are amazing around the track, and our team has just been super all year. They've been so much fun to work with.
That's amazing.
You guys have anything to say?
I will say we have 3 of our graduating seniors are going on to compete in college track.
Wow.
That's actually is one of them.
Really? You are at Bates?
Yeah.
Amazing. That's great. You're going to keep sprinting?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's great. We'll come watch you. Okay, good. Cool. All right. Can we do a picture? Congratulations, you guys. It is amazing.
Okay. I'm gonna bring our brown over.
Right, so always give me the longest. 3, 2, 1. Okay.
You can say it. Yeah. And thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
All right, guys. With that, we have our principal reports. We want to start with Kim?
Sure.
Kim, you want to come on up? Hi.
You didn't give us a chance. We were gonna rock, paper, scissors.
Okay.
You volunteered as tribute. I did not know.
Sports,
Yeah.
voluntold. Happy to be here to present on behalf of Mr. Kelly and the Hopkinton Middle High School. We've had so much going on this spring, and as my first year here, it makes my head spin sometimes, the amount of different things that are going on. Like when we did the 6th grade parent information night, and there was foreign language clubs meeting to watch foreign films at the same time. It's amazing, the life that's in our building. We've gone through various sorts of assessments, which I'll leave for later. We've done things like Similarity Awareness Day, where we worked with the middle school counselor to bring in a woman who's wheelchair bound, and she shows the kids how to adapt to playing sports in a wheelchair. So they all got to play a handball game, which was really fun for the kids and terrifying for me, and I almost lost my toes. We've had different awards nights for seniors and underclassmen. Last night we had the athletic awards where these kids were all just at. And I do have to give credit to Mr. Reserve. I thought it was a fantastic ceremony, albeit very hot in the gym, but we made it work. I really enjoyed seeing the team captains take the microphone after their awards to give credit to their team, their coaches, their parents. I really just appreciated that a lot. Thinking about school safety and facilities, the school recently worked with the New Hampshire Homeland Security and Emergency Management Team to review our emergency operation plans as well as our building. Just kind of keeping that updated, looking at things to make things better, getting that feedback from someone who's outside of us, who thinks about these things all the time. As someone who really values school safety in my role. I thoroughly enjoyed the process, and I was told we got an A+ before the other ones. We completed our self-study for our NEAS accreditation process, so we'll have the visit for the first part of it this coming October, so that's something to look forward to. And then we've had so many end-of-year activities, including tomorrow we have a step-up day for 7th to 8th grade and 8th to 9th. So it kind of helps loosen the nerves a little bit for especially the 8th to 9th graders. They're going to go down to the high school and meet their core teachers for the fall. Looking ahead, our priorities going into next year is building more on the portrait of the learner. We've already started to meet and talk about rolling that out more. And then our other goal is looking at our core curriculum templates and continuing the process to create a consistent format for all of our curriculum that's both public facing and internal facing, and create that ease for a new teacher coming in to be able to hand that over to them and not have to start from scratch. So there's been a lot going on. I've really enjoyed my first year in the school district and learning about Hopkinton and the immense amount of pride that this school district has. I do enjoy green, so that is helpful. And I'm really excited for the summer now that I know what I'm doing to plan for next year and to hit the ground rolling in August.
Great. Amazing. Any questions for Kim?
Kim, what was the hardest part of your first year?
Hardest part of the first year is probably not knowing everything that's going on in the building and learning on the fly.
I feel the same way right now. It's all good.
Yeah, exactly. Winter Carnival was especially a little crazy because the middle school does things different than the high school, and I'm just going like, where do I go? What do I do? Fortunately, the staff is fantastic and will answer my questions and point me to where to go. And I am thankful that there's an event calendar that I can have on my Google calendar, so I know now what's going on each day, what field trips, learning about all of that is really helpful.
The security redesign, looking forward to that, right? I'm sure there's been some talk, curious about plans for shoring up the back entrance and kind of changing the student behavior for once the bell rings, the entry to go around, and there's been talk about that, plans, you guys? Okay.
Yes, they won't be happy, so they're probably not listening right now, but the plan is at 8 o'clock, that back door is locked down and they cannot come through that. They're not gonna be let in, they'll have to come all the way to our front entrance. But they'll still be looking for drop-offs because parents will still have to go down that way. And the main office right now is a complete mess as we pack everything up and get it ready to move on out so that Monday they can start breaking out.
Great.
Or whatever they do.
Yeah. How's the temperature on the 4th and 5th floor? I know it was hot last week and it routinely gets pretty warm up there.
It did get a little hot later in the week. Some of the 5th floor classrooms do have an air conditioner unit
In the window.
so that made it easier. And then with finals going on in the high school, there were some open rooms that were available, so teachers collaborate and they found creative uses to move spaces. I know like the science class for 7th grade moved into the auditorium because there were some classes going on there. So the staff is pretty used to it at this point. We'd love to get more ACs, I'm sure. But they adapted and figured out ways to make that work.
Great. Anything else from Ms. Lane? Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Happy almost last day. All right, who's next? Patrice, want to come? Oh, yeah, come on up, Carrie. You're great. Come on up. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it. You got it.
Yeah. So, if I may ask, if you don't have my board report up, can you please pull it up and I'll explain in a moment. Thank you. So some late breaking news. We had field day yesterday. Mrs. Roth's class won the tug of war.
Amazing.
Very excited. Tracy Martin found some old trophy somewhere, retrofitted with a person holding a little string like a rope, and this is a coveted award in this
We also had Step Up Day this morning, which meant the 4th and 5th grades stepped up. Doesn't mean they met their teacher. They don't know who their teacher is quite yet, but they had a little presentations from all the teachers. The existing 6th graders, since they have already gone to the middle school, did some activities with Unified Arts teachers. So it was a great day. We did get to participate in our Artist in Residence experience, thanks to the Hopkinton School Foundation. We had an artist, Jess Dickey, who does murals. She's out of Portsmouth, and she painted a mural on the shed, which I pictured in my board report. I love it. It is so vibrant. I don't know why, but it reminds me of like a farm stand. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. The kids really, really enjoyed it. They designed the mural. They had prototypes, so it was a pretty involved process. All of the grade levels participated in field trips since the last time I visited. 4th grade went to the New London Historical Society, where they learn about colonial days, which aligns with their study of New Hampshire. 5th grade students went to the Krista McAuliffe Planetarium, and 6th grade students walked down to the Houston Field for the 6th grade send-off. In previous years, they had done a ropes course or a really big field trip. Last year, we took a step back and we went down to Houston Field, and they absolutely loved it. We had a cornhole, we had ice cream. There was a dunk tank. So it was a lot of fun, and they really enjoyed it. I received a few emails actually from parents just thanking these teachers for putting that time and energy into it. It was a hot day, but the kids loved it. We also did transition activities for 4th grade students. They came to visit at the end of May. They got to experience a whole class morning meeting in the gym. They got a tour of the school, so it was really nice. And on the evening of the 21st, I also hosted incoming 4th grade parents, which was great. It was a great turnout, wonderful questions. The Maple Street Yearbook was recently distributed to students who purchased one yesterday, which was great. It's filled with photos and memories from the past year. A huge thank you to Mr. Woolner, who is our resident photographer. I know I've said this before, but you should have seen him yesterday in field day during tug of war. He was like the press. I'm going to give him like a press pass. So he's like down like this, and he just had the most beautiful pictures. So if you look on the last page of my board report, fun little game, I list 4 pictures. I have taken 1. Mr. Woolner has taken 3. Can you find the one that I took?
Garden Club with Mrs. Martin.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. But joking aside, you know I communicate with pictures. I chose these pictures to show some of the unique things that we do here. So photography skills with Mrs. Emerson. Not only does she coach track, she's a fantastic art teacher. She does photography. These are the 6th graders. Course with Mr. Levergood, half the school participates. Science with Mrs. Roth, that's Jackson Whitley, and he is generally that excited when the egg goes into the bottle. I happened to be in the classroom that day. Thinking to next year, where I won't be here, teacher assignments will be shared with families on August 3rd, and open house is scheduled for the 24th. Of course, we stagger it because there's not enough parking for us to have it all at once. And it is not on the same night as Harold Martin.
Ooh. Good to know.
Yeah.
This is going in the calendar,
It is.
Carrie,
And
right now. And it can go in the newsletter. Yeah, great. Any questions for Dr. Sindoni?
Thank you for putting this together. Oh, sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead. I was just going to say thank you for putting it together. I thought the mural came out beautiful too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, really appreciate your work here, and your presentations to us have always been very informative, but I think you've been a real leader in this building, so certainly wish you well.
Thank you very much. This is a special place. I always describe it as a little bubble of love, this school. All right.
Any other
Thank you.
questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carrie. Dr. Sindoni. All right, Patrice.
Matt Stone is the most stealth man I've ever met in my entire life. Apparently he's standing behind me for 5 minutes over there. I'm so excited to share a little bit about what's been going on at Harold Martin. I included in my board report a lot of our fun activities, and also we did some one-pagers for our academic data and our behavior data, which just really put things in perspective for us. We shared them with our staff at our faculty meeting, so I'm hoping you guys had time to kind of look through that. We'll talk more about the academic data at the next part, but it has been a great end of the year. It's exhausting right now. Yesterday was field day for us, so it was a perfect day. It wasn't too hot, and it wasn't raining, and we did it a little bit differently this year. We did field day activities all morning, and then Mr. Aaron was there in the afternoon for a show and performance, and all the kids were up and dancing. And at the start, like a handful of third graders were too cool, but by the end of it, they were all doing it. And then he made the mistake of teaching Miss Fallensby how to beatbox, and she has not stopped. So she's just walking down the hallway, beatboxing and practicing as she goes. So she has decided when she grows up she'd like to be Mr. Aaron, so that was good. Kids were also very excited. We focused a lot this spring on our portrait of a learner and really kind of integrating that and making it visual. So there was a big HMS sign that Miss Emerson did for us, and each of the characteristics had a different color sticker, and each week we focused on problem solving and empathy, collaboration, and as teachers saw students exhibiting those traits, we gave them the stickers. They automatically put it on the HMS. It didn't have their name on it. It was just a visual mark that someone was doing it. It was really fun to see. Perseverance was a big one because that was during our state testing and our AIMSWOT testing, so we were seeing a lot of that during that time. And then some teachers did some portrait of a learner certificates at the end of the year, so different students got different awards based on the characteristics and the skills that they were able to show, which was nice. We did a lot with our sustainability and our student-led kind of environmental pieces. So our hydroponic garden, you guys remember the second grade came and talked about it. We figured out today it was over 20 pounds of lettuce. I think it's actually more than that because I did 3 pounds today. So it is a crazy amount of lettuce that we were able to provide the cafeteria for everyday lunches. And then today we went down and we're like, who wants lettuce to the cafeteria? And they're like, we have enough lettuce. So teachers just took bags of lettuce home with them. They said it was the best lettuce they'd had, so that was nice. We saved some for the night custodians as well, since they have a steam machine on, but they never get to eat from it. We also did a lot of composting. We had our third grade compost crew who had their little badges, and they helped our elementary school really go through what was compost and what was trash and what was recycling. Massive amounts of food waste saved from there. It was over 200 pounds that we were able to take out of the trash can. That Ms. Hino has been really working with the kids in kindergarten and the third grade representatives to organize that. We added our book vending machine this spring. That was partially through a fundraiser. We received some funds from the Kyle Bedringer Memorial Bus, and then we had some principal funds allowed as well, and every student gets to pick a new book with a book token on their birthday. We got it in the middle of the year, and every kid was insistent that they got to do it this year as well, so we just gave every classroom teacher the book vending machine tokens for this year, and they have been having a great time going down, picking out what book they want. So every once in a while they get stuck, so we have to open it up, and then they're all excited to see what the inside looks like, so that's been really nice. We also did artist in residence as well, and I was not sure. Kim told me having 200 elementary school kids paint a dumpster at the same time was going to go fine, and I was a little nervous, but it actually did go great. So they did a really nice job. It was a nice community piece. We had that ongoing right around Memorial Day as well, where we had the town band come for our tradition and do a big Memorial Day assembly out on the front lawn. So we had a lot of active learning activities going on outside. We also this year got the middle high school jazz band to come down and play on the dinosaur side of the building, which was really cool. They set up on the road and we sat up in the bark mulch and answered questions about different instruments and pieces like that. So we did a lot of kind of outreach and community connection this spring and really trying to engage ourselves in learning in different ways, not just with our workbooks. We also had Arts and Science Day, and there was a lot of fishing going on there. So that is very good. We talked a little bit about the custodial appreciation sign that is up there, but what we didn't talk about was Miss Forgel retired, or is retired this year after 41 years. So her classroom parents reached out and wanted to throw her a surprise party, and the kids and the parents did a whole big celebration in her classroom. And, you know, I keep expecting that she is just going to slow down at some point in time, and she's not. This morning, we were out there doing multiple takes because her kids want to do the Good Morning New Hampshire with the 250 days. So we were practicing that, and the wind was in our way. So we made a lot of videos of her kids doing that, and she is going to be on it all the way up until the day she leaves, which is going to be nice. And then the other piece that I didn't write about was kindergarten screening has gone great. We had 50 kindergartner students signed up for next year, which is more than we typically do at this point in time, which is really nice. The team has worked really hard to get all the screenings in. We did them in 2 days, and then preschool did them in some afternoons with some of the kids who went to that. So we do have dates set up for this summer, we always get at least 10 in the summer. So for new students coming in and kindergarten students. So they'll have information on that. And then Carrie spoke to it a little bit, but we will be August 24th for our ice cream social and open house. That is the day before school starts. And that will be staggered as well, but we have everyone come at the same time. We just have half the building in and half the building in ice cream, and then we swap. So we were pretty excited about that. And then we did Step Up Day today as well, just to introduce people to the new teams. We were really fortunate. Samantha Pond, who's getting married, will be Ms. Hinman, was able to join us, so she met the new incoming students. And Ms. Breed was not able to be there. She's another one of our new hires, but we did have a big picture of her face, and Ms. Pepper carried it around. So the kids will be familiar. So it was a really great experience today and a really nice end of the school year.
Awesome. And then any questions for Patrice? Ms. Brown? Did you want to talk about the one pagers or wait until the data?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't cover the behavior data in the presentation because we focus on academic, but
Right.
I do think it's important. The behavior team at Harold Martin has worked really hard this year, and in looking at all the data from our Aspen system, we were able to notice that there was a 60% disruption reduction since the peak in November. So that was really good for us here because November was really hard. It's a typical kind of, we come in as a honeymoon stage, we've got some new players, and they kind of go up. The other really big piece to know is that 43% of, I think it's 43% of our incidents this year came from 5 students.
Yeah.
So it's really, like, that's a big deal number for us. So, you know, once we identify, you know, who our heaviest hitters are, really just being receptive to the data and flexible and then targeting our interventions. So as a team, we talked about really doing that early screening, paying attention to who's starting to bubble up, and then creating those support plans for high frequency students. And then also working on that enhanced peer-to-peer engagement. How do you, you know, lose? How do you play? How do you ask someone to take a turn? So we really found that our interventions worked once we were able to kind of create those support plans. And we were able to settle the whole system down with kind of that push and instruction that they were doing during hot time and Black 5, but also really having some of those clear and consistent expectations. So it was they did a nice job, and you know, the end of the year peaks up a little bit because transitions are hard and we've had weird days, but it's been really nice to see.
Awesome. Any other questions for Ms. Brown?
Just on the behavior piece, this was also, just remind me, I also want to say that we had supported bringing in a bit more support as well.
Yeah, so this is with the increased support, and that's why we wanted to put this in.
Yeah.
Because this is with returning back to that student support specialist, so that we had 4 years ago before I came, there was someone in that role, then we moved that role to a different spot, so then we didn't have that for the past 3 years. This was our first year returning to that, and that really has been a nice addition. It's not just Ms. Kleiner and myself responding to behavior, but there's actually more of a team that's available. And when you've got 5 kids who might all be running different directions at the same time, it's nice to have more than 2 people.
Yeah.
So.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And I got your note through Parent Square today. I know you're moving on as well. Thank you so much for all your time with Harold Martin. We really appreciate it. Thank you. All right. And then are we going to go straight to data?
Presentation.
Yeah, let's do it. Where is my have a seat? All right.
Well, welcome to the district-wide data presentation.
Thank you.
If you remember, we did this in the fall, so this will be somewhat of a comparison with updated data, and we also have New Hampshire State Assessment data and SAT data. So as you remember, the idea of delivering the highest quality education is really grounded in data. That is how we make decisions, that's how we make instructional decisions, how we allocate resources to really meet the needs of every student in our district. So the role of data really serves four purposes. It allows for accountability, it allows for equity for students by identifying achievement gaps. It also assists with the vision of monitoring the progress of the 5-year strategic plan. And it also supports educators with actionable information to ground instructional insights and their approaches in teaching. Teresa, you want to do the pillars of assessments?
Yeah, so we've talked about it before, but there's, a few different types of assessment. There's a universal assessment that's just a brief assessment that's given to all students to gauge general proficiency, and this is what we do, 3 times a year with our Ames Web and our Early Bird. There's diagnostic that helps us identify baselines and kind of lets us dig in a little bit more. Formative happens a lot in the classroom. This is that ongoing instruction that teachers are doing with exit slips and conversations and raising hands and thumbs up and down. That's just really helping them monitor whether or not students are understanding it. And then those summative assessments evaluate the learning at the end of the unit or at the end of a school year. You could use that piece too. So we use 2 different types of assessments to check our math and literacy. Ames Web is used for math skills K-12, and then we use Ames Web for grades 2 and up for literacy, but it only goes to grade 8, right? Or does it go all the way to 12?
9.
9. Okay, so it's not K it's K to 9. And then we use Early Bird, which is now called Imagine Plus, and that is for grades K to 2, and that's just for early literacy.
First up for data, we have the Ames Web math assessment. So what you're looking at are both the fall and spring scores, and I'm sure you know how to read this, but you want your red and yellow to go down and you want your green to increase. So it's interesting to look at the differences, for example, between 4th grade fall and 4th grade spring. It's especially exciting for me to look at 6th grade spring, where the majority of students made adequate growth in English language arts. Ladies, do you have anything to say about the slide?
My slide, it's missing my spring scores, but I can get that information for you.
Yeah, in terms of math, looking at math, looking at the progress made from the 7th, 8th grade and 9th grade, and seeing the yellow and the red go smaller. That's what we want to see. That's our goal, to be green. And we can see that in 7th grade in the spring this year, they were all green, which is fantastic.
It is fantastic. I had to look at it twice, and then I brought it to Michelle Klarner, and I said, is this accurate? And she said, it absolutely is. They made incredible growth in both 6th and 7th grade. for English language arts.
That's amazing.
So I'll update it there, but we went to almost full green in all of our categories for math. So they call it the trees in our building, and we have lots of trees. Our kindergarten scores have a worse, where did it go? It looks like 96% are green. So we went fully up there, which is nice.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So when you guys get the spring data, what do you do with? Does this data get passed on to next year's teachers?
So we like to triangulate data. You like to have at least 3 data points. So this is one data point.
Okay.
And you have to really understand the assessment and what it's for. It's basically a screener.
Okay.
So it's not the end all be all of information, but we give it throughout the year, and it's really for progress monitoring, and it's also for instructional decision making. Students will also take this in the fall as well when they come in.
Sure.
And that is really your starting point for when intervention groupings and things like that.
Okay. Yeah, I just noticed stuff like the 8th grade, their yellow decreased, but like their red increased.
Right. And it's interesting to compare Ames Web to New Hampshire State Assessment, because Ames Web, the assessment is it adapts. So if a student gets a question wrong, it will go down. If they get it correct, it will go up, where the New Hampshire State Assessment does not do that. So that's really having a good understanding of each assessment and the function of each of them.
Sure.
And that's why we triangulate to
Yeah.
really get the best picture.
Smart. Yeah.
And the bar for spring, like when they take the spring test, they're expected to have learned over that year too. So
Correct.
the bar goes up, like
Correct, yes.
not the bar graph, the stack bar graph, but the expectations.
Yeah, and AIMSWeb does a really nice job of parent reports where you can see that, where they've got the national norm and then you have the student, and you want to see that trend line going up.
That's exactly, as a parent, I saw that each
Yeah,
time. And
we
it
had
also
it
gave
with
you
me.
categories of, I don't remember, there's some literacy competence, like oral literacy, like what is that category? Like,
Right, yeah.
Yeah, they're very nice.
Mm-hmm. This is the same assessment with literacy, so I'll give you just a moment to look at that. Again, as the principal of this school, I'm very excited by the 6th grade results. And it's also an important assessment, in addition to New Hampshire State Assessment, to really assess the Amplify curriculum and what we're doing. Are these scores increasing? When you look, and what we have in a few slides in, we have a historical 10-year view of New Hampshire State Assessment to say, okay, this is what Amplify came in, or this is where IM came in for our math curriculum, to really make those high-level decisions.
Yeah. Great.
Early birds, not my world, so I'll let you talk about that.
So to answer your question too about using the data in the spring, both math and reading met with each team to kind of celebrate their progress this year, which was really nice. You'll see here from the fall to the spring in the same categories, a lot of growth. Kindergarten letter sounds looks really good from where they are. The predictive profiles, that is the biggest kind of panic button for parents, I think. The way the early bird report comes home, it has like a big percentage in a different colored box, and it was like, you have this percent chance of being able to read. And it is so intimidating. And if you look at the 1st grade predictive profile, majority of the students, almost 3/4 of them, like flagged as like not being able to read words. And that was like their prediction. And then at the end of this year, you'll see that it's flipped the other way around. And that's what we want to see. And that really is a testament to the Amplify program, but also the hard work of the teachers and the intervention staff. This year, we did our Title I a little differently, and we did the Title I tutoring. That definitely also helped impact our numbers and our proficiency levels, because all those kids in the Title I tutoring, we saw immense growth from as well. You'll notice that in almost all of the cases, our reds got smaller and our yellows got smaller, which is really good. That's something that we're looking to see. That means that our tier 2 instruction is helping. So not only is our everyday instruction in the classroom working, but we're targeting those kids that need a little bit of extra support. Maybe not the specialized instruction of an IEP, but just, kind of some help to get them across with a certain concept, and this data is showing us that that system is working. So that that tiered system that we put in place really has taken off for both math and literacy, and showed us the results that we were hoping for. So the first grade was the biggest piece, and the second grade, their numbers being where they are is also huge, because that first grade team last year worked a lot with that second grade team. So they were really proud to see those numbers. And when we shared our success this year, we shared it school-wide so that everyone could kind of see, like, we're all in this together, and your hard work in first grade and then their hard work in second grade, and we're really seeing these really great results. Like, they're all our kids. And we can kind of see from that overall view.
So now we approach the New Hampshire State Assessment. As you know, that is the statewide assessment that is given to students in the state of New Hampshire. We're looking at student mastery. It is one tool for measuring the degree to which students are on track to graduate high school. And they also use the term college and career ready. And it's also used to inform instruction in the classroom. So I will start with math. And I really feel like the next slide is a little more informative, if I may go ahead. This is extremely interesting. So if you look at this slide and you follow the diagonal lines down by the colors, you will see the growth of one cohort, so the same group of students over time. And that's very telling. So this has gone back 11 years. So in 11 years for math, you've had different teachers, you've had different math programs, you have had COVID. So it's interesting to see the trends of what has happened. For me, as the principal of this school, I look at what happens between 4th and 5th grade, because there is traditionally a dip that happens. And again, if you look in 2017, for example, we did not have the IM curriculum. I did not have the same teachers for the most part in place. And I've really had conversations with different professionals to question the assessment itself. Is it more language heavy in 5th grade versus other? We're not sure, but that was somewhat intriguing to me. Kim, did you have any insights for 7th or 8th grade for math?
No, I like this view over comparing them directly, because you're comparing two different groups of students who've had two different experiences, who went through COVID on 2 different years. So I really appreciate the growth that this shows. There is that little dip this year in 8th grade, which can happen. The content gets a little harder getting into some pre-algebra concepts. So I wouldn't say that that's necessarily surprising. And looking at it compared to over the 11 years, you continuously kind of see that little drop. So when I look at that, that makes me go, okay, that's not unusual to see that drop. And then I would be looking at that comparing to when we get the PSATs in the future, and that's a different assessment, but you can still compare them and pick them up from that.
So you're saying that even though it dips there, because you can see like that dip in 8th grade, and that's kind of scary. So
it's not unusual once you start. I'm putting on my math hat here.
Yeah,
Once you start thinking about solving equations, which is something they haven't done, incorporating systems of equations, and then you've got the accelerated class that's learning so much in a short span, which is not probably the lower parts there. It's not unusual. Algebra 1 covers a lot of the same topics again, so that reinforces it more so in their freshman year.
I'm wondering too, like, I'm curious about the culture around testing and the enthusiasm for testing. It's like at the lower grades, I wasn't surprised by the 8th grade, because I work at the higher levels, and that's where you tend to get that. And I was curious about, like, how are you creating this culture where the kids are, like, you talked about, like, celebrating the successes, like, what is happening maybe at the 7th and 8th grade? Or are nobody's excited to test, but, like, how,
That's fine.
but it impacts, we're publishing these numbers next to budget items, and so I'm curious about, like, how we're creating.
I mean, I can speak for this school. We really focus on growth, not necessarily the number. with kids, to really view it with that lens
Yeah.
of
But they take
working
it
hard.
seriously?
I feel that they do.
And how do you create, I guess that's my question, is how do you
Well,
create
I mean,
that?
these students have grown up in a culture of assessment, so this is something that they're used to. You know, for me, there's a fine line between not putting undue stress on a student, but
Right.
also creating that enthusiasm for it. And I really think if you focus on the idea of growth, this shows us how you've grown. This also shows us how we can better help you and how we need to teach you in the future to get them to understand the function of assessment.
I'll just say at the middle school level, we have some snacks. The teachers will plan fun activities for after the test because they're all trained. So it gives them a little bit of a reward for making it through. I mentioned PSATs because I'm super excited for us to be able to give the PSATs to our 9th, 10th, and 11th graders in the fall. I'm looking at different incentives for that, and I'm starting that conversation with our Director of Counseling, Jeff Daly. One of the things that's fun about that is we also have so many opportunities with so much staff that would have to be involved to really try to make it exciting, whether that might be like a clap in to celebrate, hey, good luck, let's do it. I did that at a previous school and it was kind of corny for the kids, but they saw that we were excited about them taking the test. And I think even small things like that goes a long way. And just for the kids to recognize that we want them to do well, we want them to do the best that they can do, and not take it too seriously because you don't want them to stress out, but for them to understand that we're rooting for them and we want to represent Hopkinton. So that's what I'm excited about for the fall.
Thank you.
Okay, also the same type of view for the New Hampshire State Assessment for English Language Arts. Give you a moment to look at that. So if you look at this again with the same lens, you know, where Amplify came in and what gains you would expect to see with Amplify, I think is very exciting because we are in our, my goodness, 3rd year of Amplify. And really, I would be excited to get a 4th grade student that have had Amplify since kindergarten, where they understand the routine, the rituals, the rich language, the text that they're exposed to. So there's exciting things happening in kindergarten already where these kids are so excited to be reading. To get a student that has had that background their entire academic career is exciting. And from what we've seen, our scores have increased.
Yeah, that's actually pretty amazing.
Any questions about that?
We started Amplify in 2025, is that right?
Yes.
Yes. We piloted. No.
2024.
Thank you. We,
2024.
a few teachers piloted in 2023, so 2024.
That's great, but there is really nice improvement there.
Yeah, yeah.
Great.
This is basically the same information that I just showed you a moment ago.
I fully get and understand why we track on a class or a student level, an individual level, like where you start to where you end, and then what's your progress. How do we compare as a school to like on the New Hampshire SAS testing to the rest of the state?
We tend to outperform the state average. I can get you that information if you would like.
Not necessary to dive into it for me. I just like on this one on science, like what does the state consider normal and adequate?
Well, they would consider normal, you know, their idea of adequacy would be 100%.
Sure, then
Right.
it should be all of our goals.
Right. Statistically, the New Hampshire State Assessment for Science has been lower. I have it in my notes somewhere of what the state average is for this year, but we outperformed the state average, I can tell you, for 5th grade in my school. I find that assessment to be very language heavy. It is a lot of navigation of tabs and diagrams and moving the screen down. I was actually on the team for the state that helped develop that assessment where we were looking at validity of questions and cultural bias and things like that. Where prior, the assessment that we gave was hands-on. It was an actual inquiry where you were blowing sand with a straw and you were measuring things. So this is now a computerized assessment, really assessing scientific skills. So I still think there's some work there.
Is the proficiency that we're talking about in these charts, this is not based on the state assessment of
No.
proficiency. This is based on the program, Amplify or whatever's.
So Amplify is English language arts. This is science.
Right. I was looking back at the
Oh, I'm
other
sorry.
ones. So just when we're talking about
Yeah.
proficiency, we're looking at these prior
Yes.
charts. Is that based on state? The
This-
state average proficiency, or is that based on what the
These
program
are
is determining?
These are our district proficiency rates for each grade level.
Yeah, but
But what I mean is
Amplify,
compared against what?
Ames Web has their own standards.
Right.
New Hampshire SAS has their own.
As
That's
measured
what
by,
I'm
yeah.
asking. That's what
As
I'm
measured
asking.
by the state's benchmark, like cut scores. So the state says that a cut score between this and this is proficient.
Okay, so it is based on
this
the
is
state
statewide.
assessment of
Yep, this is based on
proficiency.
a state norm.
So I'm just curious because I think you said you had worked on I think I read an article
It was a task force
a
to
few
audit all of the questions.
weeks ago, sometime within the last month. This was in the Times, I think, about that states have been lowering proficiency standards. And so it's difficult to tell exactly how you're doing, even if you're hitting proficiency, because that's a moving target.
Right. Ames
But I-
Web renorms frequently as well.
Okay.
Yeah. And there was renorming significantly after COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
To provide you a similar slide for the science proficiency, you can see, as I said, we definitely have work to do. Kim, do you have anything to note for the 8th or 11th grade?
I'd like to note for the 11th grade that is going to be changing for next year. The state is actually shifting it to 10th grade so that it better reflects what they're learning in 9th grade and 10th grade science, because a lot of the test is not any of the upper science. It's more physical science and biology. So next year it'll be 1 year of an overlap where we have both the 10th and 11th graders testing that, but then it will continue at just the 10th grade level. And I think that will be better numbers in a sense, that the content is fresher in their head. Because right now our students are taking science and physical science in 9th grade, bio in 10th grade, and then a year later, practically a whole year later, they're taking this assessment. And obviously there's going to be some regression in their skill set because they're not doing that same type of science anymore. So that is one change that's coming into play next year. So I think these numbers will be really interesting to see, especially, although I don't like comparing groups, it will be interesting to compare the 10th grade to the 11th grade taking the test in the same year.
Yeah.
I heard that firsthand with a daughter who took AP Physics this year and said, yeah, I took that test, but it was all stuff from 2 years ago.
Right. I would do bad too.
I haven't found working out my grade, but the state average is 38%.
For science? For science, yeah. It's usually low. Right, Kim, this is your world.
SATs. So I have 2 slides on the SAT data because I just enjoy data. What I like about the SAT is that for this first chart, it's looking at the percentage of students who meet the College Board benchmark score. And that is set by the College Board, not the state. And that's the likelihood of students succeeding in a college level course for English or math. So if they hit that benchmark score, which I know for math is a 530, I think English is a 510. They have a 75% chance of succeeding in college, which I think is very interesting. Since we've asked about comparing to the state, this is a great time to look at that. So this is the spring assessment. So we can see compared to the state, we have a lot more green. So we have a lot more of our students reaching that benchmark score for each math and English. Compared to the state, they are way better. In terms of math always has a bit more of a red. It really just depends on where students are in their math progression. So the math SAT covers content from Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, a little bit of statistics. And that's not normally where kids struggle because that's looking at graphs and charts. But for some of our students, they come into freshman year and they do Algebra 1A and then they do 1B. So they may or may not even be fully in Algebra 2 by the time they take this test as a junior, or they might just be 3/4 of the way through it. So it's obviously going to be harder for them to reach that max potential that we're looking for. The SAT test is different now. It's adaptive as well. So depending on how they do on the first section of math or English will dictate what types of questions they get asked. So that's really helped to kind of change the scores a little bit. And then the second slide is looking overall at comparison between our seniors and how they did last year when they took the test in 2026 compared to our juniors this year. Again, I think it's always hard to compare directly to different groups because they're taking a different test in a different year. I think looking more at a diagonal chart like that is a little bit better to compare directly. Historically, the junior classes performed better on these assessments than the senior class, so that doesn't surprise me that this is how it's shaping up. I think that's going to change each year, but I think overall it's important to note that we are doing significantly better than the state. We actually received a survey from the state asking about what we do for English prep because our scores are so great. So
I received the same one as well.
yeah, it's something to kind of celebrate there. And adding with the SATs, we are now a Saturday SAT test center and that came directly from our student leadership group asking. The seniors were wanting to take the SAT for a second or third time, and some of the nearest locations were an hour plus away. So we had our first small group test in May. We will be doing 2 in the fall in September and November, and we already have a couple of our students signed up. And part of the good thing about signing up for that is new this year in the fall, they're going to reserve 40% of the seats that we said we could give for our students specifically. And then I'm the coordinator for it, so if we run out of seats, if one of our students wants it, I can change the number. Because that is ultimately the goal, right, is to have our students be able to come test in a place where they are comfortable.
I can tell you that made a huge difference to the juniors because the next round was June 9th. They took the SATs, Dee and Jillian and some others, and they drove to Manchester High School, and it was a stress of driving to the school and getting there and getting ready for the test. Driving to Hopkinton, they know that totally made her feel more relaxed about the test.
Can you, not to steal your thunder before the last slide here, but did you say on the SATs that depending on how you do in one section, you get different questions? How does, I'm pretty far away from that, so I'm curious.
Yeah.
So how does that work and why?
To be honest, I'm not sure how that changes the overall score grading. And I've done a lot of research for that, and they've been very
Is it like
vague
more
about it.
difficult or less difficult depending on how
more
well you're
difficult
doing
or
it?
less difficult.
Other
So if they perform really well in the first section, they'll get more of those harder Algebra 2, almost pre-calculus level questions. If they perform less well, they'll get a little bit of an easier path.
Does that raise the total point score for the?
Yeah. In order to get
They're
like
weighted the same?
well, it does change your score. So in order to get like the perfect score of an 800, you'd have to do
All the hard
fantastic on
questions.
both.
Yeah. Huh. And correct me, I think Ames Web and SATs both work that way.
Does it?
Yes.
too. So your kids will probably be, if they haven't yet, they'll probably be hitting Ames Web soon.
They should be in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got Ames Web.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't talk about what they do, so. I'll never know till I see the scores, but, okay, so it's weighted, so if you're getting it right, then you get the harder questions, and then if you get those right, then you can get the maximum total possible points.
Got it.
And otherwise, I'm guessing that's to make you not feel so bad if you're not just getting all these questions wrong.
I'm not sure. Like I said, College Board is really vague about it. I did a lot of research when this first started a couple years ago as a department head, and they don't really specify. They also don't break it down as much anymore into subsections. They're just broad categories. They used to break it down a lot more for you. They're trying to make it a little trickier, I guess, too.
Yeah, I'm just curious as to why.
It seems like a way though of basically being able to hone in on like where you are. So like you're not able to hit the really hard questions. But you're also not meeting the super easy questions. So it's kind of figuring out where you are.
Instead of 2 tiers,
on
it's
that
like
scale.
3 to 4
Yeah.
tiers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
That makes
how
some sense.
I've understood it.
And the GRE and the GMAT do also do it that way too. So
Oh, do
like,
they?
And the
Yeah.
LSATs, no?
yeah, the MCATs are
They
fine,
do?
but
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I said, I'm pretty far away.
I will also say as a parent, it's your teachers, or at least at Harold Martin, I obviously don't have kids at Maple yet, but if you have a question about your kid's assessment, being able to email and say, hey, they dive bombed on this particular thing, and they can say, you know what, for Ames Web, it was after SAS, and they took an hour-long test and did it in 10 minutes, so that could be the reason why your student maybe did not get the result their mother was looking for, which is okay. So context does come from situational awareness. And if you're a curious parent, I think it's always good to email a
And
teacher and ask.
we have a lot of families that reach out. We have a lot of families
Yeah.
who, teachers who will meet with families to explain it. Our interventionists also do. I've met with families. It's always important, especially a lot of these tests, it's one moment in time. Like
Yes.
we had a family, similar situation, whose daughter didn't perform the way they thought. But she had a fever and wasn't feeling well and then was out for like the next week. And yeah, of course she didn't do well when she was sitting there, you know? So it's taking that into consideration. That's why we look at that big picture. So you'll notice that we talked about, you know, we share the data with the family 3 times a year. For Ames Web, that gets sent out pretty easily. Through Parent Square for Early Bird, they make it really complicated. So we print it all, fold it, and put it in envelopes or tape it together. But we're really looking at that, you know, K-12 continuum, looking at those data conversations to provide a foundation for the upcoming year and to help us, you know, is this a one-off where they're exhausted because they just did all this other testing, or is this a trend that we need to be thinking about so we can get some of those second tier 2 strategies in place. And then in the spring, really looking kind of overall at our proficiency levels, our growth, our rate of improvement, and, you know, how does that inform our instruction and programming for the upcoming year? So I think, you know, there's a lot of work that goes into it, and the kids definitely work really hard, but it does provide us with some information that helps us shape next year and next steps.
Did we have any issue with participation percentages?
My percentages were under 95% at Harold Martin this year. So we do, I mean, we have several families who decide to opt out for whatever reason, and that is their right, but under 95%, those scores get factored in as 0%. So
Yeah, so it's
in
an
our
interesting
average.
campaign to try and like increase participation. I recognize that the state allows
Yeah.
parents to opt out their child. But then on the flip side, they penalize schools, right, schools scores if they don't get at least 95%.
So they count that as a 0, like they flunked every question on the test, so it
Yeah.
lowers, it tanks the lower average.
If you have more than 5% of your student population that does not take the assessment after that 5% mark, however many students you have, that is a 0.
Which in a small district like this is 2 or 3 kids sometimes.
But we legally allow them to opt out.
They
In
have
fact,
to,
like,
right, you
I
have to.
feel like in some circles it's encouraged.
We have to send out a letter to tell them how to do it.
Like,
And that's the SAS testing. Ames Web probably is a private party that they don't do that.
Yeah, Ames Web is just our local assessment, so we don't do that. So they all take Ames Web.
So there's some compounding data.
Yeah, absolutely, always.
Anything else here?
Who spent the time to put all this together and compile it all? Because it's not one school. It spanned all 3 schools.
Yeah, all 3 of us.
The 3 of us did.
So
We enjoy these things, though.
Well, then you're
I
data
don't know
geeks
what
like me.
that says about how we spend our time.
Yeah.
But
I think it says a lot.
I walk TikToks on how to do Excel at night, so it might be good in the future to include the number, like in the grades or somewhere in the matrix, the number that opted out. or the percent that opted out, just to know how much that tanked the average we're seeing.
Yeah.
If it's easy, like this is probably hours and hours of work.
The opt-out, so there is a platform that the DOE maintains called iAchieve. I can send you a link, and you can look at the state averages. They give you the assessment participation for the whole state, and then the proficiency growth and the achievement levels. And then there is a place for you to toggle specifically to Hopkinton, so you can compare those numbers. The participation rates, it would be hard for them to do it at this time of year, because the window closes for SAS. Is it this week?
Yes.
So that oh, they did. Okay. So we might be able to get those participation rates, but they usually don't finalize them until later in the summer.
I mean, you meant for ours, like if we're trending up or down in participation rate and percentage, not absolute numbers, but.
Yeah.
And then just quickly before we leave, I did update in the board folder, the updated slideshow that had the Harold Martin math data, and that's the slide that you're seeing here. So our spring math data, I told you, was a lot of green, and it really is. So you're looking at kindergarten and first grade with, almost full proficiency levels. And then second and third grade, that doesn't surprise me that we have more tier 3. This is where we start to see more specialized instruction with IEPs and specific disabilities in those subjects. So, it does look really good though from where we went from the fall to where we went to the spring. And, Karen Victoria celebrated also with the staff on those numbers. So that is updated in the board folder, and I apologize for that. But I did want you to see it before we left.
Yep.
Thanks.
I will also note as a parting thing is that parents did not necessarily get assessment data prior to, I think, Patrice starting. This was not shared with parents, and we did not, I think, do a data presentation like this at the district level in the same way prior to Patrice and Carrie starting. And I just want to say thank you to both of you. I think this has been so fun for us. Rebecca had done some, but I think this is like a really helpful way to think about the way the district looks at its work and like the different testing things, and the pieces of data that we look at. So thank you both. It's hard to think that we're going to have 2 new principals next year, but I hope you both have a great transition, and we wish you the best of luck so much. Thank you for being part of Hopkinton. We appreciate it. You got it on there, right? And Kim, we'll see you next year. And thank you.
We got to break in the newbies.
Okay. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Ladies, rather. All right. Who wants to kick things off with school lunch pricing? Laura, do you want to go for it? Sure. Okay.
In your folder tonight, there's the original memo that we wrote for the last board meeting, and I did put an update in. Do either of the Jonathans want to speak regarding what we discussed at finance, or would you like me to tackle it?
You can go ahead. Unless you want to.
We had a good discussion regarding food service and our program in general, and taking a look at the fact that we sell about 2/3 of our revenue comes from meals, and about 1/3 comes from a la carte.
Yep.
And the finance committee's recommendation is to do the following: to do a 25-cent increase in milk for snack milks, for breakfast and lunch meals, a 10-cent increase, and for any adult lunches, 25-cent increase.
Okay.
I do believe that adult breakfasts are the same price, so I don't think there's a 25-cent increase there.
Okay.
But that is their finance committee's recommendation after speaking and looking through the data.
Okay.
It was like threading a needle. You did nice benchmarking analysis, and your findings were at the higher end of meal prices already. And 10 cents isn't much, but it helps offset the deficit. So it's threading the needle.
Yeah, and I think, it's revenue in the sense that that money comes in through it, but it isn't revenue in the sense that it's ever going to pay for itself or turn a profit for us. So
Right.
it really is more of a service to parents who are trying to get their kids ready and out the door, but I think also to kids that are coming from homes where they don't have the money to maybe have a hot meal otherwise. So
Yeah.
I do think that, you know, it's important, and even if it isn't like profitable, it's an important, so I think that's something that informed us in terms of, you know, a marginal increase to try to reflect the, you know, the anticipated increase in costs, but also to weigh that against people's abilities to pay.
Yep. And I do thank the finance committee for you know, talking it through with me and Amy, and realizing that this is a service that we provide to the kids and to staff members, and that we'd like to make sure people continue to have access to it. As it gets harder and harder to get free and reduced meals nowadays.
That's a question about did we get any more participation in the free and reduced? I know that was something that you guys were actively like sending out and kind of left it open. It was in the newsletter multiple times. Like, has that increased? I'm just trying to think of like, yes, it's a service, but I also hate to say like everybody else pick up the tab for that. I mean, yes, like, right, universal healthcare pretty much, yes. But in the current system that we're living in, I'm wondering if there's a way to tap into any of the other community civic groups to kind of like, are they, I don't know, I watch these things where people pay off lunch tabs, like, is there a way to
bolster that?
Yeah, ask around, or is there a group that wants to sort of take some of that on? I don't know, it's just worth thinking about.
Yeah.
Because it's the hard, you know, how do we get people to participate in the free and reduced? And then do people even qualify? Is it just, we got used to not paying during COVID and we've maintained, you know, not paying the bill? And there's really not much that the school can do. Right?
Well, the new meal charging policy does delineate between essentially delinquent debt and bad debt, and does say that the negative balances carry over into future years for students. So those negative balances are not going to clear based on the new meal charging policy. They will continue and be there next year.
And if I remember correctly, this is going back 2 or 3 meetings ago, finance committee wise, the outstanding balance debt was pretty low.
Right.
It is $4,000.
$4,000 out of the 85 that were roughly going to be budgeted in the negative for food services.
Yes.
Right, it's a factor, but it isn't the driving factor on why this is sort of a losing proposition. I think a bigger factor is the federal regulations that we have to comply with in order to continue to receive federal dollars.
To answer your question, our free and reduced numbers have gone down. They have gone down this year. I think more because people are hitting that threshold and no longer qualifying. It's about it's $27,000 for a family of 3.
Yeah.
That's
Are you
horrible.
serious? Yeah, it's very, very, very low.
At Harold Martin, it went from 10.79% last year, and when I just got my application this year, they're at 7.56%. They had 26 kids that qualified, and now they're down to 18. And then Maple Street still qualifies as Title I school, 10.09%, and now they're at 6.32%, 22 kids to 12 kids. So some of those kids shift from, building to building, but certainly we had more students last year than we do this year that have filled out the application and they qualified. But, them qualifying,
That's not the, like you said, that's not the driving factor.
But as you educated me yesterday, staying in the federal program ties to our Title I and Title II, or not Title II, Title III and Title IV.
And adequacy aid, state aid.
And this is why we took, it's a little tangential, but this is why these regulations are why we can't get milk from Kentucky Creamery and we can't get, Worksong Farms vegetables, because that would then disqualify us from these federal dollars, which is, I found a little frustrating personally. A lot frustrating.
I will say Tracy does Tracy Barker does such an amazing job
A lot of hoops.
staying on top of all
Yeah,
of
she's
these.
extraordinarily well versed
We,
in them.
in the, in EMC, we talked a lot about these food regulations, trying to decrease single-use plastic. And, I mean, she's just,
Yeah, it
she
came
really
through
is.
wellness as well.
Yep.
She knows all of
Yeah.
that. I was like,
It's a
Trying
lot.
to reduce
It's
the-
a lot.
It's a
There's
lot.
Trying to
lot.
reduce the plastic and also the ultra processed food.
Yeah, yeah, and it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you guys, you know, looking at all of this more. I really appreciate all the work that you put into this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's the best compromise.
Yeah. Yeah, do you need a?
Yeah, so do I have a motion to to approve the changes to the school lunch and milk and breakfast to the school
Meal prices.
meal prices as presented for the 2026-2027 school year?
I'm sorry to interrupt. The only thing is as presented orally, because I think.
It's at the
the
very
written
bottom.
material-
Scroll way
Oh, it's on
down.
the bottom,
I
okay.
did the same thing.
Okay,
Updated
I'm there.
2016.
I apologize for interrupting.
Yeah, as presented.
So moved.
Yep, second.
Okay, any discussion? All right, thank you, team, really appreciate it. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Tracy and I talked today and we both agree we really think that that's the best option for us for next year. So thank you.
Thread a needle.
Right, so at the last meeting, I presented a project list for unassigned fund balance, and then have been asked by some members of the board to just highlight, you know, what our priorities would be. We talked at finance yesterday that our unassigned fund balance amount continues to go down, which is great. That lets us know that what we have asked for, we have used. And so we're circling around 88,000 right now. I think at the last memo, it was around 136,000. And then we discussed at finance yesterday, we've onboarded some new employees. And so we're thankful to have them on board, but those come with costs. So in terms of benefits, and then we paid a lot of overtime as we tried to fill that employment, onboard that employee. So so I've gone ahead and just highlighted the projects that would be important to me. In the area of facilities, I've talked to Jim Rizicki, our facilities director, about the neutralizer tank. That seems to be a priority for everyone that you talk to. I don't think we want to manage, it's really gross. So we don't want to manage that being not effective. And then also the NPR storage store at Harold Martin. There are a lot of small humans that live and work and show up to Harold Martin, and that door makes me nervous every time I'm down there. So
I'm a small
just
human
being
here, so let's be clear.
I'd be nervous about you being near the door. too,
Should be.
Jonathan. I'm concerned about it. I know we had a discussion about the weight room project at the high school. I would like to contribute in some way. The students have been really engaged in the renovation of that space, not just athletes, but our students that are taking wellness. We have developed some new courses to meet the Ed 306s. And so I'd like to contribute something to that, whether it is a few pieces of equipment to collaborate with the graduating senior class. There is a discount on shipping if we hit a particular threshold. So I'd like to work with Jim. They have a list of equipment and maybe even, a treadmill or a rower or a gazelle, one of those gazelle machines. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So they have, I'd just like to look at what the students have asked for. And then the replacement of the soccer goals. We have a lot of students that participate in soccer, and we are not the only users of that field. So I think that would benefit everyone that would use the soccer fields. And then for the music and performing arts, replacement of the risers. We have, as I mentioned previously, 3 good risers that we replaced a couple of years ago. So this would be replacing the remaining 3 that have met their end of life. And it's no surprise that I'm going to continue to support curriculum development. I think it is I'll just say I think it is the most important thing that we do. And so ensuring that we have the most up-to-date materials, and these are requests that are coming directly from teachers. And we spend a lot of time asking teachers, what is it that you want or need to improve? And curriculum continues to be at the top of the list. So this certainly doesn't total 88,000. And so as you go through this list, and this is your last meeting, I would just ask that you provide me the opportunity, if Laura comes and says there's actually a little bit more money, we would choose something from this list, or if another priority would come up, we would look to fund that. Questions about the list, or it's what we've discussed?
No, I mean, I think this is a really thoughtful list. I know that there's a lot of things that are for commercial use, and that there's a lot of things, as you said, whether it's the door at Harold Martin or otherwise, it gets a lot of like hard use with the number of humans we have moving through in various forms throughout every day. I think that being able to invest in these projects, some of which are equipment and certainly the curriculum stuff, I think is very well worth it. And I appreciate the research that you and the team have done to put this list together.
Thank you for prioritizing it too. That's important to see. I think they're all important, but we have to make hard decisions. I think knowing what the most important, like obviously the acid neutralizer tank needs to be taken care of.
Right, yeah, as someone who has
So
had,
we don't just start dumping those out. Right?
well, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
also that will eat through all of our pipes.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I recognize that there's like
have
actual
water.
RSAs, not how it's disposed.
Yeah. Okay.
I also really appreciate the partnering with the seniors and their senior gift. I just, having a student-driven goal on here is, I think it's really important.
Thank you. Me
You know,
too.
I just, it is not often that we see something where we see students taking on something like this, and I know that they've worked all year on that room. And actually, I think they started talking about it before this year, because I remember hearing about it last year. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah. And Jim and his team have done a great job. They did do a cleanup over the Christmas break and put a fresh coat of paint. But now we're ready to replace some of the equipment. We removed all of the broken equipment. It used to be covered in mirrors. I don't know if you remember that space when you
Like
were
a dance
students
studio.
there. Yes, but not in a good way.
Yeah.
Sort of like a.
Right. I never went into that weight room. I was not that kind of kid. Yeah.
Well,
No,
but
gotcha.
I
However,
think,
but now there's a bunch of different uses for it, so it's good.
yes.
All right. Do we have, are we going to motion this?
I just do wanna, may I
Yeah.
mention one
Yeah.
thing? What's not, back when we were doing budgeting, we were mentioning the storage pods. Jim and I looked into it. It costs about 3 years, the annual rent, to purchase one.
Are they on their way out? Like, are they a permanent resident or?
The hope is no. Our goal is within a couple of years to get rid of them.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like I remember from the conversation that the reason we were renting is because we did not want to keep them, because we had owned some. We got rid of the ones that we owned because we did not want storage.
And we did not end up needing to put more storage containers out for the Georges Park renovation. We were able to use the HISA pod for that.
Great.
They're assisting us.
So the only thing that I would say, if we're gonna rent for 3 years. Or purchase, and it's the same cost, we may be able to recoup some of that by selling them when we're done.
They are so difficult to sell. So we sell storage containers. They often go to like transfer stations, and you don't get a lot of money for them.
Could scrap them.
Pain to move. I mean, I don't think,
Yeah,
they
No, I
don't
was just
go
thinking-
for a lot of money. There aren't a lot of places. You end up,
We're paying how much?
well, sure, you can pay, I mean,
Like, is there another pool?
you pay to rent them because they are such a pain to maintain.
It's like
and
a
get
dead
rid of.
asset. Yeah.
Unless you're a transfer
Yeah.
station. They're great.
Thank you for looking into it.
But just to understand this doesn't really require a vote, right? I mean, you can
No.
make these expenditures as we need to.
Well, I think we need to direct, do we need to motion anything?
You really don't, because everything that's on the list is really under $25,000, which is your minimum to get 3 quotes off of your purchasing policy. And under that is at the discretion of the superintendent, so you do not officially have to motion anything to allow us to do this. This is more, I think, a notice
informative.
And a show of support, right?
Yes.
That you would
Yeah.
support.
A show of support for these projects.
Great. I dig it. Okay. That's worth them. Thank you. Can we take a minute while we're talking about the jazz of fund balance and talk a little bit about what's moving through potentially the State House right now? Just so we can start to surface it here. I know it's not an agenda topic, but I would love to really make sure we can start general education.
Oh, don't you worry, I came prepared.
Thank you, Laura Taylor.
There are two bills in the House right now that are awaiting, that are on their way to the governor's desk. I checked again today, they have not cleared. The first is HB 1610, which is the one that I'm watching the closest. It modifies RSA 198 4B, which is our contingency fund. That has been approved by both the Senate and the House, and the current language is essentially threefold in how it changes the use of the contingency fund. So it liquidates everything we have immediately. I will say that the security redesign is safe, and the use of fund balance for tax relief is also safe at this point. The second is that it becomes an annual adoption on a separate warrant article at town meeting if we want to have a contingency. And the third is that it becomes 3% of our budgeted appropriation, which is essentially our operating budget. That's on Article 2. And that can only be spent by permission from the Commissioner of Education. So that's what's in HB 1610. We are unsure at this time if it is going to pass or not. If it passes, the contingency fund shall liquidate everything that goes as of June 30th, and then anything that you were looking to vote to maintain for next year would also be liquidated. Then its sister article is HB 1300, which puts a tax cap on our state general election on November 3rd, 2026. That general election is before we start talking personnel budgeting. So that is before we have our full budget in place, before we have our first round in place. And it puts a tax cap of essentially the CPI over your current taxable assessment. Now, if we automatically return the contingency fund, which remember the 5% is about $1.1 million, it will swing our tax rate down, and then the tax cap would then be artificially lowered for what Hopkinton actually has for taxes. And that would be every 2 years on the state general elections. The tax cap would be in place for 2 years.
So you tried to educate me yesterday and calibrate me here and check me in the boards if I've got this wrong. 1610 eliminates contingency budgets or lines that exist, and they get put up for vote every single year then.
Yes.
So the whole point of them, from my understanding, was that it steadied and made the tax base a little more steady state.
Mm-hmm.
And by eliminating it, there's a huge chance to go to yo-yo mode.
Yes.
And you get less money taken out of your mortgage this year, but next spring, you're voting to go backwards the other way. And it just, like a sine wave, goes up and down, up and down.
Yep. Because 3% of our budgeted appropriations this year is about $867,000. So that would be your swing every year, up and down, depending on if the warrant article passes or not. So yeah, it would definitely be a swing.
The contingency budget line was put in place so that if a boiler goes down in Harold Martin or the roof collapses in a section of the school, there's a rainy day fund to fix that. And I guess I'm at a loss of what the motive of that legislation even is. Like, other than to wreak a little havoc, and sending money back to taxpayers is always good. I'm not against that idea at all. It's just, at least in our town, the town meetings I've been to, there's been a huge push and initiative to get a better grasp on long-term spending and plan for contingencies and problems. And this seems to want to wipe the slate and erase that.
So what we see with a lot of school districts right now is that when you have students that move in that are unanticipated and they have special education costs, the contingency fund has been able to be used to cover those expenses. Without that in place, you're going to see school districts moving to trusts and moving to trying to build trusts to have protections. Trusts are not being looked at right now. So, but you can only put money into them during the warrant articles or a special meeting. So that would be an annual vote then that we would also be looking forward to.
And many districts, I would say, to your point, have spent the better part of a decade, if not more, adding to Article 10. So this is not something that is taken lightly. Like, we have worked really hard to slowly add savings to this every single year, and to have it go back in one fell swoop. Again, like, it is, I think we all want to we want to manage our dollars and return money to taxpayers. But given the swings that we've seen 3 years ago, we had a 20% increase in GMR. We've had transportation costs. We've had special ed.
We had
Like the
$750,000 in special ed costs.
right, it's significant. So I think it's to your point, the inability to have cushion and stability to help smooth the sine wave, I think is deeply problematic.
In combination with the tax cap, I have real concerns about the ability to negotiate, because it's not taking into consideration previous, like, contractual obligations, right?
We don't know yet. So when the legislature right now says that when you have a collective bargaining agreement, the master agreement is a separate warrant article as an individual warrant article. We are unsure if that tax cap includes the individual warrant articles or if it's only the article you're looking at for your general fund. It's not clear yet.
Because, I mean, insurance could fluctuate so much that could eat your entire cap, and that would be that would be the fault of, like, say, a 3, 4, 5% raise for, that's beyond our control. So I worry about just all of these factors kind of coming into play all at the same time.
Yes, and the tax cap puts it on our local ballot. So when people come to vote for governor, that's when they would see, do you want to enact a tax cap in Hopkinton for 2 years of the prior taxation amount plus CPI, essentially, plus your bonds. They can't take, bonds have already been agreed to by legislative bodies, so those are outside of this.
But even like default budgets.
Yep.
Yeah.
Default budgets have to legally
include contractual obligations.
But if the tax cap doesn't, it just doesn't make sense to me. I'm not opposed to, like, keeping things within, this is as far as we can go, a tax cap, but I am opposed to doing it in a way that just doesn't make sense.
It also puts us in a position where if something happens early in a school year, like a roof leaks or a boiler goes or a student needs to all of a sudden have a significant increase in special ed, that we could be frozen for the majority of the school year and services would be affected.
Or
whether
worse.
it's athletics
we'd
or,
have to-
just to try to make it, if we don't have any cushion at all, it could put us in a situation where all of a sudden services are extremely negatively affected for a school year because we had to pay for that thing that happens.
Yeah.
Or we watched Claremont, they had to lay teachers off in September.
Right.
I mean, that was, I had never seen anything like that in my 30
Or-
years in public education in New Hampshire.
Or spitting out the parade of horribles, you could be in a situation where you return money to taxpayers and then ask them to come and pay for the sports season
Right.
and give it right back.
Right. Yeah.
But it's less efficient, so maybe it costs them more in the long run.
All right, thanks for the update. I mean, I don't like it, but I appreciate the knowledge.
Yeah.
I will continue to watch it. Continue to look every day. I think a lot of our partner associations are also watching the legislature because it is effective immediately.
Right.
And-
So
and
stay
we-
tuned, guys.
And we believe that we should have an answer by the end of the month, one way or the other on this.
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to get it, make sure we were talking about it, so if there are people who are watching, they've got context. Okay, great.
Thank you.
Policy. You ready?
Yes.
Do it.
Well, I have a whole bunch. These are my final reads of the school year. So we've got our slate of J policies and then our 1E policy. So we have JICC student conduct on school buses and it addendum. I always call it
An appendix.
Appendix. Thank you, Amy. I always call it an addendum. It's not. It's appendix, which is just called JICCR School Bus Conduct Rules. JICD, student discipline and due process. JICDD, student discipline, out of school activities. JRA, student records and access, otherwise known as FERPA. JICJ, unauthorized communication devices. This is the one that we put into place last year, and we had basically only put it into place for 1 year, and so we removed that. So this is now, we're continuing to not have cell phones in school. And then EAB, which is sustainability and natural resources. So with that, did not hear from anyone, so I'm assuming folks have no questions. I'm looking for a motion to approve these policies as presented.
So moved.
Thanks.
Seconded.
Great. Any discussion? I like that I get to lead this one part. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thanks. Any opposed? Now you can be happy.
Okay, guys, everyone should know the Students per 100 started
8 years ago? 9
8 years ago, close to a decade. So there are students who have continued to be part of trying to get a sustainability policy passed, even when they are so far past high school that they are getting their PhD. So this passing of this policy literally represents a decade of work by students to try to bring this thinking into the role of the school district. And I'm very excited to email a whole bunch of students and former students later tonight because I think it is remarkable. And thank you so much for your support. Okay, it's good stuff. Great. I have one other curveball before we get to the consent agenda. Is that okay? We did not talk about goals, but I just will include a overview of the retreat topic. Is that okay? So everyone knows, we had our retreat last Friday. It is a public meeting. It was held in the history room of the town library from 12 to 3. We, in addition to meeting with our attorney, talking about some like recent moving changes in legislation, including what Laura just covered. And things that are coming down the pipeline for school boards. We also talked about what our goals are going to be for the 2026, 2027 school year. They are under the same buckets. It's everything from curriculum and assessment to finance to safety and security, communication, culture and climate and sustainability. We are going to go through and we'll talk through these. They're in a draft form now. Amy and her team will do a turn on them this summer with their level goals. And we'll go through these in detail at our August meeting when we start to really kick things off. All right. But I thought it was a really productive meeting and I thank you all for your time. I know we all spend a lot of time together and I really appreciate even more time. That's it. With that, great. All right, consent ladies, let's go.
Right. I do apologize in advance. We have a relatively large consent agenda tonight. First is our personnel report, new hires. Morgan Ranfos, did I say that right? Is being nominated for the speech language pathologist position for the next school year. That has been contracted this year as it's been vacant, so we're very excited to bring somebody on for that position next year. Rachel French is being nominated as an IA or an instructional assistant. She's replacing Mary Tripod at the middle high school for next school year. Hannah Wood that is it for new hires. Resignations. Hannah Wood is an IA here at Maple Street and has put in her resignation for the end of the school year. We thank Hannah for her service. She came to us at the beginning of this year and she is moving. So she's there. And then one that is very sad for my personal daughter. She loves Mrs. Bickford so much. Michelle Bickford, 6th grade teacher, has chosen to resign at the end of the school year for personal reasons. And so I want to thank her for all that she has done.
I'm only smiling. I am incredibly sad about this resignation. I am smiling because there are tears on either side of me. Do you want to say anything?
I can't.
Okay.
If I may, I will. So there you go. My daughter Sam came to 6th grade last year for the first time. Terrified, scared, shy, anxious. And Mrs. Bickford, she was in her homeroom. She took her in, sat with her at lunch on the first day, introduced her to all the kids, and made her student of the week on the first week, and got all of the kids to write all of the things that they really liked about Sam. this poster that we brought home so that she felt welcome in this new school that she didn't know. And it was one of the kindest, most caring ways for her to show Sam that she's a part of this community and welcome. And even though she hasn't been here since kindergarten, like 95% of the kids in her class, she went on to teach Sam how to write in 6th grade, to teach her how to like social studies, to teach her how to be a good human. And I appreciate everything that she's done very much. For just one of the hundreds of students that have moved through her class in the past, 12 years.
I'll share a quick quote from this morning. Amy was talking about how one of Michelle's trademarks is to, at their weekly meeting, say, what can we do to make the students feel better and more loved, right? Which is just going the extra mile. I think that how she made Sam feel included from week 1 is incredible. I saw Mrs. Bickford this morning. I started crying when I saw her. She will be dearly missed. Anything else? Okay, thank you.
On the speech pathologist one, we're paying an outside service some exorbitant amount and paying their profit margins and everything else right now. So on a non-teary subject,
Thank you for bringing us back.
bringing that one
Bringing it back
in-house
around.
is going to save us money overall.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep. Yes.
I will also, I'm sorry, I'd also add, contracted service, it's really hard to embed them in your community because they don't work for the district. So one of the things that we had talked about at finance is every time they attend a meeting above and beyond what has been contracted, or it is not just expensive for that contract, but anything above and beyond. So Morgan coming on board, working for us will just be a real game changer, I think, for everyone.
Do they come with any credentials,
So speech paths are certified through Allied Health, I think is their governing body. It used to be that the Department of Education issued a speech and language specialist license directed just for educators, and they really have shifted, so it's more like occupational therapy, where they are they're certified through their governing body. Actually, ASHA. I'm sorry, it's ASHA that is speech.
that's also another resource in the district that we have on your staff.
Absolutely. Yep.
And then the last on your new hire resignation sheet is Elizabeth Barron. She is currently an IA at Harold Martin. There was a vacancy when we did extended
Way
school
down.
year last time,
Way
and Elizabeth Barron will be taking the IA vacancy for ESY.
Great.
Oh, wonderful.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Any questions on the regular new hire sheet?
That's a tough one.
One change to Schedule B, extracurriculars for next year. We had a vacancy for the freshman class advisors, and Scott Zipke has signed up to be a freshman class advisor with Allison Smith.
Okay. All right. And there is the student council opening at Harold Martin in case anyone wants to step
Yeah.
to
And the
rise
Kindness
to that.
Club.
And the Kindness
And
Club.
the Kindness Club. That's right.
Both are still available.
Great.
Schedule B for coaches for the fall. We have nominations. I will field hockey varsity is Kate Hohenberger, who we know is our PE health teacher at the middle high school. Field hockey assistant for varsity or JV, JV coach, depending on how many students end up signing up, is Liz Kovar. Soccer boys varsity, Scott Zipke. Soccer assistant boys varsity and soccer boys JV are currently vacant. Those positions are open. Soccer girls varsity is Mike Zahn. Soccer assistant girls varsity or JV coach is Alyssa McDonough. She will take one of those two roles.
Great.
Golf is Ted Wells again this year. Cross country varsity is Rob Roth. Cross country assistant varsity is Norm Goupel. And even though it is the fall sports nomination slate, we're jumping on this early. We have a new JV basketball coach for the winter, Amy Ober, that we are asking for Amy to be approved tonight as well.
Is she for girls or boys?
Want to say she's girls.
Oh, great.
Right.
Because Kate, yes, because Kate resigned.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Right.
And then for middle school this year, field hockey, Tim Upton, cross country, George Sable, who we saw earlier.
Sure did.
Boys soccer, Travis Martin. Girls soccer, Elizabeth Sides. And then assistant cross country is currently vacant.
Great. Thank you to our coaches.
Yes.
And if anyone wants to coach either assistant boys varsity or JV, please do contact
Dan Meserve.
Dan Meserve. Thank you.
Also assistant cross country for middle school.
That's right.
That's fun.
Donations tonight, we have one in-kind donation for you to approve.
A big one.
Hertz Furniture has chosen Hopkinton High School
Yep.
for a full-out makerspace classroom valued at $27,000.
Wow.
They will deliver it, they will set it up for us, and we are very excited for it. They're gonna hold it for us for a little while we make space.
Where's Hertz Furniture?
Hertz Furniture, I believe they have a showroom down in Bedford, is what they
Yeah, they
were.
said it's like showroom furniture, right?
Mhm.
Said it for a year.
Yes.
To be a plot, like how did
Yeah,
that?
that's what I was.
So Donna Zecca is our media specialist. Do you mind if I? And she went to a show, a vendor, show, and spoke with Hertz Furniture and told them that we were interested in doing a makerspace at the library at the middle high school, and they remembered and chose us for this project. Which made an impression.
Networking, Donna Zecca.
Yeah, for sure.
Well done, Donna Zecca. So they're asking for you to
Check out
approve
the
that
showroom.
in-kind donation.
That's great.
That's
Um,
really
And you know
great.
it's gonna be just cool furniture.
Yes.
Oh, it's really cool. We saw some photos.
And the donation, yes, the donation letter from them is in your board support folder tonight.
Welcome surprise in that folder.
Sorry?
That was a welcome surprise in that folder.
Yes. We're very excited. Next up, we have some budget transfers. I believe that the prior BA, Michelle, would bring these to you essentially at the end of the year. These are for you to approve. We have one that is for salary transfers, for some overages, so I can clean up my lines. The second is for speech pathology contracted services, because we are contracting. We have a $30,000 loss that I need to cover. That's the difference. And then the last is to cover the open enrollment student. As we've seen throughout, that line has been upside down. And so that is to cover the open enrollment student.
Right.
So with that, we did talk about these all in finance,
Yep.
and the finance committee recommended them.
And continue to.
Sorry?
I said and continue to.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Terrific.
Is that part of the consent or is that a separate vote?
Yes.
That's part of the.
It's part of the consent. It's
Okay.
just the documents themselves have to get signed.
Yep.
Great.
The May financials are in your packet as well. I just keep
man.
going.
Sure do.
Sure do. As Amy mentioned, our current projected unassigned fund balance is $88,462. That is to return for tax relief or to use for these projects. We already have a guaranteed promised $400,000 that is going back. That is what we agreed to at the town meeting in March. A lot of the change between April and May occurred from special education and facilities due to placements for students and a new employee at the middle high school. And unfortunately for food service, May was a 3 payroll month, and as they are self-sustaining, they did not take in as much as they had to pay out for payroll, and we are experiencing a little bit more of a loss than we expected. Still under the $100,000 that is their budget. However, right now we're between $85,000 and $90,000. The audit is coming up, and I will have these numbers finalized for us for the first meeting in August. We'll have the trial balances done and fund balances completed at that point. So I will bring that to you then.
Great.
I don't know that it makes sense to do any kind of preliminary vote on contingency fund holding, as the 1610 is up in the air.
Yep.
So I don't know if that makes sense to do at this time. We can look at that in August.
Great.
I keep going. All right.
Wait, should we vote on all of that before you do that?
No, it's all consent agenda.
No, but he can't vote on it.
Oh, yes, okay. We'll save this
Okay,
one.
so we have one other issue for which someone has to recuse themselves. So do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented?
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Laura, that was a lot. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a lot.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Sorry for what I.
Any opposed? Great. In case anyone's wondering before we go to the last item, Laura's coming up on her favorite time, audit season.
So audit season already.
So
Just
just think about the fun she gets to have this summer.
We are having so much fun. with this
So
office right
much fun. Thank you in advance.
It's really not fun.
Yes. No, of course it's not.
Yeah.
No, I think everyone
Just
knows
letting
that
you
audits
know.
are not
Yeah.
always fun, except for the people who are really audit people.
Yeah.
But thank you. Okay, last item.
Maybe you can do your audit outside.
That's right. Open air audit.
Well, I should
Uh-huh.
do the overnight trip before you do that. Okay.
Great.
I'm just going to jump in. There is one more thing, an overnight field trip for soccer. Scott Zipke, it usually takes his soccer boys on a camping trip. And so he has put in a preliminary request while things get worked out. We know he doesn't have an assistant coach just yet, but he's put in that request for an overnight field trip.
Okay.
Now we're ready for you to.
All right, now I have to.
Do you need to approve the overnight field trip now?
Yes.
Yes, so now do I have a motion to approve the overnight field trip as presented?
Seconded.
Okay. Discussion. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
Last is a request for a new student activity account, which is called Sisters in STEM. The advisor will be Mr. Cleary, and the purpose is a mentorship program centered around women in STEM, joining together both STEM professionals and students with an interest. And it is being piloted by 3 juniors at the Hopkinton High School. One of them is Jillian Dunlap. And they wrote a wonderful request, which is in your board support folder, about this program. Currently, they already have about 15 middle schoolers, 7 high schoolers, and about a handful of professionals that are interested in joining this club. So I ask for your permission.
I'm going to recuse myself for this one because it's Jillian. This actually came out of Centros, out of the class this year with the Design Challenge Network. So it actually came out of the school itself.
That's so cool.
It's amazing. I've talked with Jillian about it. I am really excited about the work that she and her sisters are going to do. And by sisters, I mean like women.
Sisters and STEM.
I would also encourage if there's any working professionals in Hopkinton, be you a physician, a scientist, a engineer, anything in the STEM field, a mathematician, I would say please feel free to reach out to the middle high school and offer your services. I think they're looking for all sorts of mentors to basically help shine a light on the pathways that exist for girls, young women in STEM.
Yeah, and I would say the Advanced Regenerative Manufacturing Institute has a great program that students can participate in, and my winning team was an all-female team.
Wonderful.
That did it as a ELL, so it was really cool. It was biotech. They teaches you in labs and 3D print bones.
Right.
Who knew? So that's like a great opportunity for that. And I noticed that in our, the Schedule B, there's some clubs that aren't filled anyway. I mean, they may be eventually, but just to pick up this opportunity,
That's right. That's right. Any other questions?
I think it's just great.
I think it's outstanding. So do I have a motion to approve the new student activity account for Sisters in STEM as presented?
So moved.
Second.
All right, any discussion?
Good job, Chip.
All right, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Recuse? Jonathan, great. Nice work.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else that you have for consent agenda? Any words for the end of the year and reflections on your first year as superintendent?
I have a lot of reflections that I'm going to take with me.
Okay, great.
I mean, I guess just to keep it short and sweet, it has been a wonderful year. I know that we have gone through a lot and have spent a lot of time together. I'm so appreciative of my team. I know that both Patrice and Carrie are moving on, and those are good good moves for them personally and professionally. It's always hard when you lose members of your team, but I'm looking forward to, the people that will join us. And I'm thankful that Kim was able to sit in front of you tonight and get super jazzed about PSATs and SATs.
Right.
It is like one of the things that she really lights up about, and I hope you notice that. We have a small but mighty team here, and that continues to impress me every day. I feel so lucky to be learning next to Laura. She is really patient when I ask 5,000 questions about why we can or can't do things. Mandy is someone that I trust explicitly to make decisions that are in the best interest of students. And I really feel like you've given them opportunities, each member of my team, whether it's Jim or Matt, Mandy, Laura, to come forward and show you how talented and knowledgeable they really are. So I know that this is a privilege to sit and serve as your superintendent of schools, and I'm just so thankful for the trust that you place in me.
Yeah. I would like to say a couple things. You have had a really amazing first year, I think, as an entirely new leadership team between the
We can
superintendent and the BA. There's lots of high fives. I really appreciate all the work that you both have done. And Amy, I think that your leadership has been steady and in many ways visionary, and I think really, really thoughtful. So thank you. I would also, not that anyone else is going, well, Jonathan might be there, but something that I think I note every year is that when the third graders leave Harold Martin on the last day of school, they all sob. Like it is like a deeply emotional event. It's amazing. We're so lucky. That's
really
it.
are.
Okay. Last day of school.
Last day of
We're
school.
gonna make it. We're rounding the corner, people. Okay. Committee updates. Are we ready? So CIA, I think you guys said that we're not meeting. Anything else for policy?
No.
No. Great. Okay. Cool.
We're waiting, right? We're
yeah.
waiting for a few things to drop before we kind of plan.
That's a nicer way of putting it.
Yeah.
Yes, we did meet, but it was couldn't move forward on a couple of things. We're waiting for some legislation.
Yeah, because they haven't put out their policy packet yet, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. CIP.
We have not met.
We have not met.
Okay. Safety and security has not met. We'll be assigning a new chair. EMC, I just want to take a moment, you guys, and just talk through this. As we round the corner on this policy, I just wanted to do a quick summary. I'll do it again at the end of the year. But Lucy Beardmore wanted me to share that the Environmental Action Club had 30 involved members that were led by Mr. Roskamp, who was here for track earlier. They met every other Tuesday morning for half an hour throughout the school year. In December, they sent 5 members to the Youth Climate Leaders Academy, which is hosted in Vermont by the Vermont New Hampshire Energy Education Project. For the second year in a row, our club's project was chosen to focus on, and so that was the greenhouse. And so over the course of this year, EAC was able to actually get the greenhouse up and running by the end of the year, including with support from the Hopkinton Public Schools Foundation, which includes new panels, a new roof, so many different things. So they have really put in a ton of time, and that was a labor of love for all of those students and for Mr. Roskamp. And Pierce and Lucy also during Earth Day and during the months prior, they helped to coordinate the Middle School Sustainability Action Summit, which a few dozen Maple Street students attended. And then they're working on bringing more leadership in. From Patrice, they started the hydroponic garden, which did harvest 537.2 ounces of lettuce and 30 ounces of basil since the end of March. They collected 227 pounds of food waste for the composters. And the compost crew really helped support and sort trash, composting, recycling at lunch with extra students helping. They also added garden beds and outdoor classroom spaces. It's also worth noting at the high school, those students also take the compost out every single day and oversee sorting and recycling and everything else, which is awesome. We also got reusable silverware at the schools, which was wonderfully supported by this team. And it is where the Waste Warriors also did a clothing swap, which, as you guys might remember, it was right before a dance. It was right before something else, but there was a lot of clothing that people could go and sort through to basically reduce clothing waste. I say this all because the work that happens in this district is something that I think involves both students and staff and obviously the Sustainability Committee and the students, and we saw the Waste Warriors from Maple Street earlier this year. They're really passionate about it, and I'm thrilled. This also impacts the bottom line. We get charged for every pound that has to be taken away as waste from the school. So if we're saving hundreds of pounds, either in the form of foam trays, plastic recycling, food waste, et cetera, it really does reduce our tipping fees for waste management. It's worth knowing if we go above a certain amount or if it's overfilling, we get charged extra. So like this is work that the students really do to help us reduce our cost and also improve what we're doing. Any questions about that? I'm pretty proud of our
That's excellent.
committee and all the work that our students and teachers do. Okay. Finance budget, anything else from today?
I think we covered it.
Great, terrific. Wellness, Zilch, right, PD? Great. Okay, guys, we're almost there. We are now at the second public comment portion of the evening. If you'd like to come up, name, address, 3 minutes. Come on up.
Lauren Clement, 86 Maple Street. I just wanted to add one other element that you all didn't discuss about Michelle Bittford's tenure here. She was extremely involved in theater at the school for many years. And if anyone's seen the theater musicals up at the high school, I'm sure that her work earlier down at this level helped promote that. And I think that was something that should be mentioned. And
Yeah.
You heard.
thank you.
Thank you.
For another year, and we'll see you at the next one.
Thanks, Lauren. All right, the last note of business. I'm so sorry, I forgot. I was not at graduation last Friday. I heard it was outstanding. I would also like to publicly recognize Jody Condon as well as the team at the middle high school who does a lot of work pulling together the flowers, making sure that the barn, which is a sticky wicket in terms of coordination times and load in and load out, getting everything printed, organized. Thank you, Jody, for all the work that you do. Thank you to everyone at the middle high school who really helps, I think, put together a really, really nice graduation. That's very special and very Hopkinton. All right. And with that, do I have a motion to adjourn the last meeting, hopefully, of the Hopkinton School Board this school year? Second.